If you do not have a Twitter account or you don't follow Mort over on Twitter, or I guess X if you call it X, I mean, ugh, disgusting. You fucking degenerate, please. It's called Twitter. Like, come on, get a grip. Anyways, if you don't follow more on Twitter though, patch 14.1, some really interesting system changes have just been announced. And in today's video, we're going to go over them, going to dissect the different points, and, you know, give my own 2 cents on each and every one of these, because I think there's some really interesting things to talk about. Also, you may or may not notice this, by the way, I have automated all of my shit. So my dream, oh my god, my fucking dream, is to just have, I just turn on OBS, I press start recording, I got my little handle down here at the bottom right here, I have the little penguin in the bottom left, I got the music playing in the background. I want to just be able to hit stop recording and then toss this shit onto YouTube, no editing needed. I was talking to Sub-Zero about this, that's like his workflow apparently. What a beast, that shit is fucking lit. So today, we're going to try out the little Sub-Zero method, if you will. But anyways, enough about that, let's talk about the tweet. So, patch 14.1 is locked. The patch rundown will be out on Sunday, full patch notes on Tuesday, and the patch goes live on January 10th. Again, that is next Wednesday. It will be nice to get back to patching the game. Thank fucking God. But I want to take a second to talk about the 3 system changes you'll be seeing in the next patch. First, combat ties were something we never really designed around, which led to them being random or decided by silly things like whose board the fight was on. So we finally made a consistent rule. If players tie in any way, the result is both players take damage as if it were a loss, and then both players' streaks is reset to 0. This makes the outcome predictable and should help with some less than ideal scenarios. Combats are meant to have a winner and a loser. So, off rip, I fucking love it. This change is so good. This essentially kills open 40. Just almost completely. Because it's way too risky to open fort your board if somebody else in the lobby has decided to also open fort. You will both lose your streaks. You are both holding each other's feet. You're dragging each other down by the ankles. It is fucked if you guys both decide to open fort, because if you fight each other during stage 2, you have basically lost the game. Not really fucking worth it. So definitely something I love seeing here. So I'm already huge fan of this change. I have nothing to add. No unintentional consequences that I think will come out of this, but hold that thought because I think there's some that might exist with the other points. But let's keep going. Next, the value of streaking, especially in the early game, was too high. Agreed. The impact of going loss, win, loss, win, loss versus loss, 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 loss. So in other words, mixed streaking versus full on lose or win streaking was higher than we wanted. Streaking should be a nice bonus, not something that decides games. So streaking is being adjusted from 2, 3, 4, 5 to 3 to 4, 5, 6, requiring longer streaks to get value. This should make streaking still something you're happy to do, but not so necessary stage 2 that it can decide games. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm stuttering a little bit, it's because I got a cough drop in my mouth. But overall, I have mixed feelings. I have mixed feelings about this change. The biggest thing that I have the mixed feelings on is that the entirety of the lobby is going to be poorer. We're going to have people who have less money going into stage 3, going into stage 4, and that means we're going to, it's very likely we'll see a shift where instead of 4-2 metas, we're back to 4-5. So for those of you who don't know what that means, basically, instead of rolling on 4-2 or maybe even 4-1 sometimes to try to find your headliners, try to find your composition to transition to your mid-game, late-game boards, now we're going to see people probably shift at 4-5 because they're too poor going into the later half of the game and being able to do a roll down efficiently, right? This also means another thing too. Economy augments might be even more stronger than they are already. Currently, right now, there's sort of 2 approaches to the meta, right? It's either you open for lose streak with some sort of an economy augment, something like patient study, something like, I mean, I don't think level up is very good, but level up, I guess, fits the bill. Rich get richer, things like what doesn't kill you, right? Augments like these, clear mind, right? Augments like these that basically let you open for it and you garner all that lose streak economy, all of that extra economy from your augment, and then being able to shift that into a very, very strong 4-1, 4-2 pivot, right? That's sort of a main approach. The other one is you win streak and try to play tempo, but that one's a lot harder to maintain. So that's why you're seeing a lot of this open forting going on. But this now means that economy augments might be stronger because, again, everybody else is poorer. So things like patient study, things like cluttered mind, things like clear mind or whatever, right? It's very likely that we might see that these augments are now going to be a lot more impactful than they are already, except instead of open forting, you might just be trying to lose streak diligently, right? Or something that's scenario because you'll be able to 4-1 and 4-2 it, but everyone else is going to have to 4-5 it instead. You get the first dibs on the units because of the backsides, because of the pool, right? Now, that is a bit of concern, at least from my end, right? But it is definitely alleviated a little bit in the final point that we're going to talk about, which is the headliner rules. And this is sort of a big one, in my opinion, because I don't know how this will actually affect the meta at all. I can't really see or predict how this will affect everything, but let's talk about it. First off, headliner rules. So back in the PBE, the balance team shipped out a very confusing and elegant rule to avoid seeing 3-star 4 costs and 5 costs because they were occurring too often. This was, again, if you're playing near the PBE, you would know 3-star 4 costs, 3-star 5 costs, very common. Way more common than they should have been. So they basically put out a rule that said, hey, if half of those units are out of the pool, then you can't hit the headliner anymore, right? But it's not that great. Because now we have this weird meta of like, hey, everyone's trying to roll out for stage 4-1, 4-2 as fast as possible to level 8. Because as soon as you do, you get first dibs, you have the highest opportunity, highest odds to try to hit the headliner that you're looking for, right? That becomes a bit of a problem. But now, they're throwing that rule out the fucking window. And now, the only headliner rule you need to know is that if you have more than 4 copies of a 4 cost or 3 copies of a 5 cost, the headliner cannot appear for you. So this should take a lot of stress of everyone needing to constantly scout or worry about what is hidden in the enemy shops while still letting us deal with the 3-star scenarios. So I'm not gonna lie, I see this as like a band-aid on top of the band-aid. This solution does not sound perfect to me, but it's definitely an improvement. So why is this like not the perfect solution in my opinion? Well, it's because I think the problem is that one, the game is unbalanced. The game is not balanced. It tries to be balanced, and it would be nice if it was, but you can't treat the game like it's balanced when it's not. You have to accept the reality that it isn't, and we are constantly trying to work towards a balanced patch, balanced set, but it's very difficult. It takes time. It takes iterations, right? So until then, we have to treat the game like it's unbalanced. And when the game is unbalanced, it means that there are certain things that are outliers compared to others. So, for example, just right off the top of my head, currently right now, Sentinel Ahri is very, very strong. Sentinel Ahri, true damage spat on Caitlyn or Ezreal. These are the two like big compositions in the current meta, right? You should always be trying to lean into these compositions whenever you get into game. Always try to build that blue buff. Always try to build that red buff, right? Trying to lean into those lines as much as possible and then pivot out of those lines if deemed necessary. The problem with this change, and the whole reason why I've been rambling this whole time, is that if a composition, specifically a 4 cost, becomes super meta, let's say, for example, it becomes a super Sentinel Ahri meta, right? Now, 3 people can hit the headliner. 3 people can hit, like, headliner Ahri, and maybe somebody else hits, like, headliner Blitzcrank, right? They're not gonna have an Ahri in their backline, but 3 people can probably force a 4-cost comp relatively pretty easily, assuming that they econ properly and they played the game, you know, decently well, right? That is what I'm a little worried about, because that's the case scenario with 1 comp, right? But now, what if there's 2 meta comps, 2 meta 4-cost comps, and like nothing else really? Like there's A tier stuff, whatever, but the reality is that there's these 2 other ones, right? There are 2 main comps. Let's say it's Ahri. Let's say it's like, I don't know, like Ezreal. 3 people can run Caitlyn headliner. 3 people can run Ezreal headliner. What happens then? And then now it becomes a bit weird. So I don't know, / I don't like what I'm seeing here. It feels like there's going to be 2 low rollers here in case the meta becomes off balance. But obviously, if the game was balanced, this wouldn't be much of an issue. But I mean, again, like I said, it's not. So I don't really know exactly how I see this becoming, like, you know, I can't see the consequences, right? I'm not, like, if I could predict the consequences, I should be on the balance team, but I can't predict shit, like, no one can. So I want to hear what you guys think. I want to hear what you guys think about this last change, because personally speaking, I think it's better than the rule that we had before, but I don't think it's an elegant solution. I don't think it's a perfect solution yet. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. That's gonna be it for this video. Very short video. I just wanted to recap this patch / tweet because I thought it was really, really important. But let me know what you guys think about the systemic changes. I'll be in the comments. I'll be reading them and replying because I want to hear you guys' thoughts. I think it's really interesting stuff. But anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. I'll see you guys later with more VOD reviews and shit. Until then, happy fucking New Year. God bless. We are still alive. That's something. And yeah, I'll see you guys all later. Until then, take care, guys. I'll see you guys all later. Until then, bye bye now. Bye bye.